Top of the morning to you. Today, the 13th day in June 2022. It's 2 minutes past 8 o'clock, and this is the Integrity Station. We are Splash 106.7 FM. I trust you had a great weekend celebrating Democracy Day, which is why you probably aren't at work today or had to drop the kids off at school because today's a public holiday. And amidst all the relaxation, with a public holiday, taking some time off work to get stuff done around the house or just to relax, I hope you try and remember or maybe celebrate the ideals of democracy: freedom, fairness, representation, inclusion. And I hope you remember what June 12th, the original date, stands for, and you abide by those ideals. Thank you for joining us. As you know, we'll be starting from now till 10, and the show is segmented into two. The first half we call Issue of the Day, which, as the name suggests, means we pick on a particular issue and take it apart for the first 1 hour. And then for the latter 1 hour, we look at multiple headlines from the front pages of national dailies, we read them out, we bring you the details behind them, and of course, we get some analysis done with an expert. My name is Lola Meduteni.
Top of the morning to you, and happy Democracy Day to all Nigerians in arrears now. Yesterday was Democracy Day, and that's why today is a public holiday, like Lola said. Thank you very much for joining us on Panorama. My name is Gboyega Olaniyi. Don't forget that as you listen to us on radio, you can enjoy some further experiences via other channels. Facebook Live is also another medium through which you can be a part of the program. We'll be glad to read your comments. You can drop us a comment on WhatsApp as well. That's also another channel to join us as well. So without further ado, we'll get straight to the conversation this morning. Welcome back. We're trying to sort out some connection issues here. It is exactly 16 days to the conclusion of the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise, a journey which began nearly 1 year ago on the 28th of June 2021. Barring any last-minute extension, eligible voters who have not completed their registration for a permanent voter's card will not be able to do so and will thus be disenfranchised from voting in the upcoming 2023 polls.
Although the entire populace had all of 11 months and then some to complete the process, it appears that in these crucial few weeks, winding down to the end of the process, there is a noticeable upsurge in the crowds milling around INEC offices and registration centers nationwide.
Let us check in with a National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Barrister Festus Okoye, as we discuss INEC's readiness for the forthcoming polls and other related issues.
All right, we'll get in touch with him and then we'll be back to take our issue. Okay, looks like we're connected with Barrister Festus Okoye. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
All right, let's talk about INEC's preparation so far ahead of the 2023 polls. Specifically, let's begin with PVC registration, which is ending soon. There have been reports of INEC being overwhelmed at some of the registration centers due to the crowds. Are you aware of these challenges, and how are you dealing with an increase in the number of people wanting to register their PVC in these last few weeks?
Well, I don't think it would be right to say that the commission is so. Started in the month of June 2021. That is almost 12 months ago. We started the online pre-registration in June 2021. Started the physical registration in July 2021. And this was planned in such a way to enable Nigerians strolling to the either our state office or our local government office and register. We also created an online platform for pre-registration. In other words, you go in there, key in all your information, and then you just roll in to any of our state or local government offices and just capture your fingerprints and capture your biometrics. And this has been going on for 11 months now. Now, what has happened is that there has been what we call a resurgence in terms of the number of people coming out to register. Yes, we anticipated this level of pressure, but the surge was what we did not anticipate. Unfortunately, what has arisen in relation to this surge can be attributed to some level of disinformation that is going on around the country. We have made it very, very clear that if you have registered before in any election in Nigeria, that you don't need to register again, that your registration is valid. But there have been some information trending to the effect that the permanent voters cards issued by the Independent National Electoral Commission have an expiry date. Our PVCs do not have an expiry date. And that's one of the things that has led to this disinformation. Secondly, some people, rather than who are living, for instance, in Lagos and now have moved to Imo State or have moved to Oyo State, rather than just using our online platform to transfer their registration, go to register afresh. They don't need to register afresh. If your name has been misspelled, you don't need to go and register afresh. The only thing you need to do is to go into our platform and correct that information. If your PVC is lost, you don't need to go and register afresh because your data is already in our database. The only thing you need to do is to go and complain, and we print a fresh PVC and give to you. And so it's not an issue of being overwhelmed. It's an issue of people suddenly realizing that they are going to miss out in the registration and rushing out to go and overwhelm some of our offices and some of our staff.
So why do you think this misinformation has come from? And do you think it's also down to maybe sensitization on the part of INEC as regards why people are confusing some of these various different areas that you talked about?
Well, you know that the various platforms we have now and the use of technology. Dish out some information on the social media, and then what you will be hearing is share, and people will keep on sharing, and then it will travel so fine. We have been engaged in sensitization, we've been engaged in advocacy, and we have been community leaders, we've been engaging religious leaders, we've been engaging youth groups, and so on and so forth. But that has not really stemmed the tide of this type of fake news and disinformation that is going on in the social media. As far as the commission is concerned, this pressure, this upsurge, this surge in terms of the number of people coming out to register, we see it as an affirmation of the fact that Nigerians believe that the commission is doing well and that their votes will definitely count. So what we have done in the last few days is to increase the number of iPad machines that have been deployed to the various states, increase the number of thermal printers that have been deployed, and also increase the number of fingerprint scanners that have been deployed. As at the last count, we have deployed 209 additional machines to the various states. We have targeted Lagos, for instance, where we had a surge. We've targeted Kano, where we had a surge, and also the 5 states of the southeast where we had a surge. These are the places where we have deployed additional machines to stem the tide. And we believe that the measures we have taken will definitely address the challenges of voter registration, because this commission is determined to register every individual that is registrable and every individual that has come out to come and register. It's their constitutional right, it's their sovereign right, and we want to see the potency of the PVC used on election day.
Right. Still on information now. INEC announced that online registration would end on the 30th of May to enable its catch up with all those who have pre-registered online, and then all registration would end on the 30th of June. Now, later on, there was all sorts of clarifications being made as to whether it was all registration online that had ended or whether it was fresh registration that had ended. Can you clarify for us? Is anything still going on the portal? I mean, cvr.inec.ng. Is anything still going on the INEC portal? And has all registration ended for fresh registrants, or is it only those who want to transfer or update their information who can still do that now?
Now, in the online platform, we have 7 services. We have the online pre-registration. We have the service relating to those who want to do their transfer. We have service relating to those whose PVCs have been damaged or defaced. We also have a service for those who want to do a review to see whether their dates of birth have been misspelled, their names have been misspelled, and so on. We also have the service relating to the PVC locator, and so on. Out of the 7 services we have in the online portal, we have suspended only one, and that one is the online pre-registration for new voters. That is those who have attained the age of 18 and want to register, and those who have never registered before. That is the only one we have suspended. Every other service in the online or in the online platform in our portal is still going on. We didn't suspend any of those ones. Now, for the people who have never registered before, and for people who have registered, who have attained the age of 18, they can still go to our state, local government or local government offices, or to the various wards where we are carrying out the registration on the rotational basis and register. If the physical registration is what we end on the 30th day of June, but the online registration in terms of every other services other than the online pre-registration for new voters is what we suspended. Every other service in the online portal is still going on.
So, would this upsurge that INEC has seen, and with how much pressure now, with many people trying to get their registration done now, is there likely going to be an extension? And how does this affect, the timetable of the election as regards registration?
Well, let me put it this way. I was in Lagos with the chairman on Saturday.
2 days ago.
At the concert organized for the youth. The chairman made it very clear that all options are on the table, and that we are going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that every person who is interested in registering, who presents himself or herself for registration, gets registered. So that is where we are as of today. Where we are as of today is also the fact that we have deployed additional 209 machines to the areas of pressure to make sure that we capture all those who are desirous of registering. The chairman also made it very clear that 2 or 3 days before the end of the June 30th period, as the cutoff period, that the commission will meet and review the issue of registration throughout the federation, and then make a determination on what to do and the way forward. So it is the commission that will make that determination. I'm not in a position to make a determination in relation to whether there will be an extension or not. But one thing we must make clear is that in relation to the voters' registration, the law has made it clear that everything relating to registration of voters updating of the voters register, review of the voters register must end 90 days to the election. Now, the moment we finish with this registration period, we are supposed to print the register of voters and place in every registration area for claims and objections. Thereafter, we will go back and use our admin to clean up the register and then detect and remove multiple and double registrants. Between the third quarter and this fourth quarter, and then make it available to them. If we do not end the voters registration on time, the implication is that we will not print the family voters cards of registered voters on time, and that will not augur well for the electoral process. And so we want to stick to our timeline. We want to do things on time, and we want to make sure that we give Nigerians a very good election. And we do not want a situation where we will remain on one activity and then we will have a terrible backlash going forward.
Our guest this morning is Barrister Festus Okoye, a national commissioner as well as chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. And if you have questions, direct them to our WhatsApp number 0817 555 1067. You can also check us out on Facebook where we're live streaming and drop a comment there at Splash FM 106.7 Abeokuta. Twitter, we're also on Twitter at Splash FM 1067. Don't forget to use our hashtag. It's Panorama on Splash. Questions, comments, if you've got them, drop them for us on any of these channels. Now, Barrister Okoye, are you aware of allegations of voter suppression and a certain tribe being nature, and if so, how is INEC handling them?
I just informed you that the chairman flew into Lagos on Friday, and I was in the chairman's delegation. And we left Lagos just yesterday. We heard about this allegation, and I want to tell you point blank that one, that every Nigerian residing in any part of the country is entitled to register in the place where the person lives or in the person where the person in the place where the person works, so long as the person has attained the age of 18 and that the person has not registered before and the person has no legal impediment to registration, the person is entitled to register. Now, we were also with the resident electoral commissioner for Lagos State. What has happened was this, or what happened as we found out. Some of the leaders of the market unions in the various markets informed their members that the condition precedent to accessing the market and entering the market is presentation of the PVC or a slip indicating registration. So based on that, thousands of individuals, thousands of people besieged our offices where this registration was taking place. In one place where you had just one IBED machine, people descend on a machine that can register maybe only 300 persons in a day, that it is a recipe for disaster. So I think that what happened was that this issue took place completely outside our offices. The issue took place on the street between maybe some people who want to register and some street urchins and so on and so forth. So it has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with the commission. As far as the commission is concerned, every Nigerian is entitled to register so long as the person lives and works in a particular place. So I believe that with the additional measures we have taken, we are going to address this issue. We have spoken to the leaders of the market union and told them that it was wrong for them to unleash 5,000 to 10,000 people on one registration area. And we have deployed additional machines to some of the markets. And we have been pressing on the market leaders to draw up some form of a timeline or timetable for their members. They can draw up a timeline where 500 will go to one registration center, and 500 will go to another registration center and so on. So that in a day we can register at least 1,000 of their members. So we have taken measures to make sure that we deal with this type of situation. But remember that I've pointed out, this registration started 11 months ago, and we have been sensitizing people. We have been putting our back on the pages of newspapers, on radio and television and so on, asking our people to go and register. But whether they carried out our instructions or whether they did what we asked them to do or not, as far as the commission is concerned, we are here to serve the Nigerian people, and we are going to take all measures necessary to make sure that those who present themselves get registered.
Barrister Okoye, there's been questions as well about the CVR exercise. Some people are asking questions as to why we can have registration all year round, like other important documents that Nigerians carry. The National Identity Management Commission, at any point in the year, you can walk in and do your registration, the driver's license. And as to why, it has to take a few months, before you get your card, before you get it printed. Is it technology? Is it legislation? What exactly needs to be done? Or why is it that is not the case, that you walk in, you register, and maybe in a month or two, you get your voter's card?
Let me put it this way. We already have 84 million Nigerians in our voters register. This commission is fully technological compliant. We made it very clear that this CVR that we started a year ago is not for everybody. The 84 million Nigerians that are already registered are not supposed to register again. The only thing that concerns the 84 million Nigerians that are already in our database, that are already registered, is if one has lost his permanent voter's card, the person will apply for a replacement. If the person's permanent voter's card is damaged or defaced, the person can apply for a replacement. If the person has moved from one state to the other, or from one local government to the other, or from one registration area to the other, the person can apply for transfer. Or if the person's data has not been properly captured, who are already registered. This CVR, this one we are doing now, is one for those who have attained the age of 18 after the last time we carried out the permanent the CVR, and that was 2018. It is also meant for those who have never registered before. So the 84 million Nigerians who already registered, this process has nothing to do with them. Now, what is really going on now is that some people who left their cards in the villages are thinking that we don't have a mechanism of finding out who has registered before, so they'll go and register again. When they come to the registration area and you ask them whether they have registered before, they will say, no, we have never registered before. In fact, during the registration period, I didn't even know. And then when you run their name on the system, their name will pop up and they will say, oh, I really forgot that I registered before. That is not the attitude that we should adopt to this particular process. I agree with you that this CVR should go on all year round. But the law, after today, has made it very clear that we must stop everything related to registration of voters 90 days to any election. And this will enable us to clean up the voters register, integrate the supplementary voters register with the main voters register, and then hand over to all the register political parties, because that's part of the requirement of the law. It will also enable us to clean up our data and prepare for election. The CVR is not the only thing the commission does. This Saturday, on the 18th day of June, we have the governorship election in Ekiti State. I'm in Ekiti State together with the chairman, and the other national commissioners are coming today to come and join the chairman. On Tuesday, being tomorrow, we have the stakeholders forum, and then on Wednesday we have the signing of peace accord by all the registered political parties. Thereafter, we leave some national commissioners behind, and then others will go to the situation room. We run the governorship election, and then on the 16th day of July 2022, we have the Osun governorship election, and the same process will take place. And then we are also preparing for the 2023 general election. So the CDR is not the only thing we are doing. We have to do procurement relating to the BVAS. We have to do multiple of things relating to the election. And so we need to conclude the CBR, move away from the CBR, and then face other challenges relating to the 2023 general election.
All right. Before we talk about security and security concerns ahead of the general elections, those that registered last year, we got the information about a month ago or thereabout that their PVCs were ready. Is that collection still ongoing, even as people are registering and there's definitely, a doubling of the crowds at the INEC registration centers? Is the collection of PVCs for those who registered last year still ongoing? And those who are registering now, presumably, if the extension isn't
Well, for those who registered during the first and second quarter, the collection is still ongoing. And I want to assure you that the rate of collection is very, very high. I was in Ekiti State 2 weeks ago, and I visited, in company of the chairman, we visited 5 of the local governments. We also observed mock accreditation of voters in some of the senatorial district. I can assure you that the rate of collection of the new PVCs is very, very high. But the rate of collection of the backlog arising from the 2019 general election is very, very low. And so the rate of collection is very high, and we are very happy with the rate of collection. For those who registered during the third quarter and those who are registering during this fourth quarter, we want to assure them that their PVCs will be ready well ahead of the 2023 general election. The moment their PVCs are ready, we are going to send bulk SMS to them. We are going to send email messages to those whose email addresses we have. And I can assure you that we are going to sensitize people. We are going to engage, and it will also affect the period within which people are going to collect their PVC. So we want to get done with this CBR on time, clean up the voters register, remove multiple and double registrants, print the PVCs, and then hand over the clean voters register to political parties and prepare for the 2023 general election.
All right. Finally, on the CVR from my end, there were also certain allegations. I'm not sure if you saw them, that in some INEC offices, some staff of the commission, requested for some sort of inducement from prospective registrants. Were these allegations investigated by the commission?
Let me be very, very clear on this. What is going on is that some smart Nigerians have gone near the offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission and set up cafes and small kiosks where they assist people to do their transfer, where they assist people to do their review, where they assist people who have damaged PVC, where they assist people locate where their PVCs are. Those people are not INEC staff. The INEC staff are in our offices, not near our offices. So we heard about that allegation in some parts of the country, and we investigated. We found out that these people who are smart, that just set up small cafes and small kiosks near our offices, and with their laptops, with their smartphones, and so on and so forth, assisting people do their transfers online and do some other, and provide some other services online. Some of them charge 500, some of them charge people 1,000, and so on and so forth. And then the people say, "Oh, it's part of our commission." We have investigated, and we found out that it is not true. But if any individual has any concrete and verifiable evidence to the effect that any of our staff is engaged in corrupt practice, if the person reports, definitely, we will take action on that, because we are not going to condone such misdemeanor from any of our staff.
All right. Well, let's talk security. I'm aware that INEC has held several meetings regarding this, but is the commission confident that security won't be an issue for the 2023 elections?
most definitely issue in the 2023 election. No doubt about that. You are aware that there are security challenges in different parts of the country. We have a different color of security challenge in the southeast. We have a different color of security challenge in the northeast, in the north central, in the northwest, in the southwest, and so on and so forth. So we have different brands of security challenge in different parts of the country, and this will be an issue during the 2023 general election. We have had a series of meetings, as you pointed out, with the various security agencies relating to this, and we have impressed it on them on the need to, at this point in time, at this period, degrade some of these security challenges and get the country ready for the 2023 general election. As you are aware, the conduct of election is a multi-stakeholder venture. The political parties are involved, the Independent National Electoral Commission is involved, the security agencies have been tasked with the responsibility of providing security for the voters, for election officials, and for election materials. And so we are liaising with the security agencies, we are consulting with the security agencies, and we are doing whatever is necessary with the security agencies to make sure that the security challenges in different parts of the country is degraded in such a way that the people will have confidence on the election day to come out and exercise their democratic franchise. So something is being done in relation to that. But as I pointed out, the conduct of election is a multi-stakeholder venture, and all of us must get involved.
How important is the conduct of the Ekiti and Osun election, as a precursor to what to expect in 2023 for the commission especially?
Whether the Ekiti and Osun governorship elections are important to the commission, these are the two off-season governorship elections that will take place before the 2023 general election. And so we are taking these two elections very seriously. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, as I speak, is in Ekiti State. Tomorrow we are going to have stakeholder engagements with the different stakeholders in Ekiti State, and then the former president of the country, General Olaniyi will be in Ekiti State on Wednesday, together with the Bishop of Sokoto, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, to superintend the signing of the peace agreement between the different political parties. Just last year, 2 weeks ago, the chairman was also in Ekiti State. We inspected our offices in the 5 of the local governments of Ekiti State to look at their readiness. We call it readiness assurance. And we found out that the offices are ready, the staff are ready. All the materials relating to the election have been passed in accordance with the registration areas and also in accordance with the EU. So we are confident with what we have seen. The state office also carried out what we call mock accreditation in 16 polling units across the 3 territorial districts, and we are confident that we work optimally during this particular election. So in relation to the governorship election, we are confident by Wednesday the sensitive materials will be flown in by the Nigerian Air Force into Akure Airport and then moved under heavy security to our state office for purposes of the local governments and to the various registration areas. So in terms of preparations, we have prepared and we have prepared well. The over 10,000 staff, ad hoc staff that will be involved in this election have all been trained the supervisory presiding officers, all the presiding officers and assistant presiding officers, and the collation officers will be any moment from now. So in terms of preparations, we have prepared well. We only with the political parties to exercise restraint in terms of their engagement during their rallies and their campaigns.
So I would like to ask you, the relationship between INEC and CBN, Commission of Results, has passed as part of the new electoral amendment feature, in the Ekiti and Osun election.
Well, in terms of the content materials directly to our state office, our materials will not pass through the central bank for the Ekiti and Osun governorship election. That's why I said that the Nigerian Air Force will move our materials to the nearest airport for the Ekiti governorship election. It will be moved to Akure Airport and transported under security directly to our office. For the Osun governorship election, I think the airport may likely move the materials to the airport in Ibadan and then transported to our state office, and then there will be adequate security for the materials before they are inspected and distributed. But for the 2020 election, it's a different ballgame altogether. You know that, for instance, we have to print over 95 million ballot papers for the election, and we all have pre-resources and other sensitive election materials. So keeping custody of those ones and moving them is a peculiar task. So at the appropriate moment, we are going to review our relationship with the central bank and then make a determination the way forward. If we are not satisfied with the assurances we get, the implication is that we have to make an alternative logistic arrangement and then look for an alternative pathway on how to store our sensitive materials. Because trust is very key in the electoral process, and without trust, we cannot make any headway in terms of transparency and accountability to the Nigerian people. In terms of electronic transmission of results, we are still going to use the IRS for purposes of loading a fully used result into our INEC result being portal for the purposes of this particular election. So the Electoral Act 2022 is already in force, and we are going to utilize the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 for the purposes of this particular Ekiti governorship election and the Osun governorship election.
All right. WhatsApp and Twitter and Facebook where we have questions and comments already addressed to you. But if you'd like to call us, the numbers are 0704 400 1067, 0705 050 1067, 0817 444 1067, 0817 555 1067, which is also a WhatsApp number. Keep your thoughts to 1 minute. So,
hello, good morning.
And hopefully be able to take a few calls. But while we're working on that, we do have a few comments from WhatsApp and Facebook. Sanitarian Akinola Luwarotimi says...
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Tajudeen calling from Magbo.
All right. Barrister Okoye, just to be sure, can you hear the callers?
It's very faint. If I can't hear them, then you do the interpretation for me.
Okay. All right.
Okay, good morning. Yeah, thank you, Barrister Okoye.
Thank you.
Concerning registration throughout the year, I think it's something that I should give a second thought, because let's say, for instance, this year now we have to put our clock 18, next year the same. Before the next 4 years that we'll be having another elections, every year you have people that will clock 18, and I think this will reduce the traffic congestion at your offices if you do it every year. So once election is approaching, then you stop it till after the elections again. I think this will be better. And concerning transporting materials using the Nigerian airports and the like, it's a welcome development. But I just, maybe just my opinion, I'm of the opinion that security information should remain secret. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm sure Barrister Okoye, you heard him loud and clear now.
I have the first leg of his intervention is that it is important for us to do CVR all year round. I've taken that on board. We will look into it. But this particular CVR, we started it a year ago in order to space it out. So going forward, we will see in what ways and by what means we can improve people's knowledge of the electoral process, and also make it possible for people to just walk into any of our state or local government offices and register. We will look into that, definitely.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Olabode.
Yes, Olabode is my name.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, Barrister, please, I'm asking this for the uptenth time. Why is it becoming somewhat difficult for INEC to get our PVC reproduced? I said it earlier that I was a victim of a car robbery. So my PVC, which I used to cast my vote, I think way back since 2011. So it was stolen alongside my wallet. So then I made some rectification. 2011 till date. So my first daughter wasn't even born then. So now they are finding it difficult to produce another one for me. For me, this indirectly is a disenfranchisement. INEC are making me to suffer. The only hope I'm having just to cast my vote, this 2023 election right now is the printout they have given me. So they lost it. I made another registration 2020 till date as I'm talking
But
to you right now.
did you try again this current CVR process that is going to end, in a few days?
I didn't even do anything online. I went into the offices straight and they made the printout for me. So the promise they told me since 2020, they said that this last December, my PVC would have been available. I still went there less than a month ago. It's still the same old story. So why is it becoming difficult? This lemon here.
All right. Barrister Festus Okoye, that's... hello?
Hello, yeah?
Yeah, did you hear him? He said he's been trying to get his...
Yes, I have been. When you go to our office to report that your PVC is lost, you were slowly doing a robbery. We expect you to produce some form of affidavit indicating clearly that you have lost your PVC, because we do not want to go and print a new PVC only for us to find out that somebody has two permanent voter cards. All the people who reported during the first and second quarter that their PVCs were lost, or who registered during that particular period, or who had one challenge or the other, we have printed all the PVCs and the PVCs. Government offices, and people must go to those places and go and collect those PVCs. So their PVCs are ready, unless he just made that intervention during the third quarter of the registration or during this fourth quarter, in which case he has to wait because we have not printed the PVCs of the people who made interventions during the third and fourth quarter of the registration process.
He said he went back in 2020. So what would you advise him to do now? Should he apply online, for lost PVC, since you said that is still available on the portal?
In the online portal, there's what we call the PVC locator. He can go there and locate. It will show him whether his PVC has been printed or whether it has not been printed. It will also show him, if it's been printed, it will show him the location of his PVC. And so that particular service is available online.
All right.
All right, let's get through some of the comments online. We have this one from Engineer Tiamiyu who says, what is the fate of the fresh registrants at INEC offices across the nation? Would they be able to get their PVC before the general election? Barrister Okoye has answered this. He said, yes, they will. If you register now, you will get your PVC well before the 2023 election, or you have to register at the physical offices. But he also asks, INEC claims they have done some rollover of their offices across the nation in order to increase the chance of registration, but we are yet to get the address to this effect, particularly in Ogun State. And someone else here with a similar question who says, concerning the voters' registration, can't we have a registration center in each ward so as to relieve the INEC centers? That's from Anu from Kuto. Maybe Barrister Okoye should take these two questions together. Rollover of INEC offices to increase chances of registration, as well as devolving registration to the ward level, which I'm aware was ongoing at some point. But Barrister Okoye, what say you?
Well, we have 774 local government offices across the federation and 37 state offices going on in all these places. We also have 8,809 registration areas. Registration is going on in the various wards on a rotational basis. We cannot remain in one ward for a whole year running. So what we do is that in each local government, the electoral officer draws up a timetable and shares it with traditional rulers, religious leaders, youth groups, women's groups, and so on and so forth, on when the registration officials will be in each registration area. And they go to a registration area, stay for 1 week, register all those who show up, and then move to another place. And one thing that has also affected us is the level of insecurity in some parts of the country. in some places, in some local governments and in some works in Katsina, Imo, Anambra, Sokoto, and so on. We are not doing registration in some of those areas on security grounds. So we are also taking into consideration the security challenges in some parts of the country. So we are carrying out this registration, and we believe that people who make efforts to show up for registration will definitely be registered.
Sanitarian Akinola Oluwarotimi says it's worrisome, sad, and quite an unhappy events when I got a call from one of my brothers, a nurse last week, who said he's at INEC office and mortuary here in Abeokuta. He wanted to register to get his voter's card, but the officials in the office, the INEC officials, told them they have a single machine and that people should come back. Someone who left the hospital he's working and is at emergency section, what time will such a person have to come and sit down and do registration? What are the steps INEC is taking to ensure that the likes of government officials, nurses, doctors, and other health workers are registered as well? Also, I heard that the Catholic Church has started no PVC, no entry to the church. Is this necessary, and of what importance is it? Because I know other religious centers as well as some other financial institutions will soon commence this style.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Alaron is my name, calling from Abeokuta.
Please go ahead.
Let me just appreciate INEC for what they are doing. But let me ask, INEC has created some new words where people will have the opportunity to migrate or to register. What are they putting in place to ensure that those who are migrating from one unit to the other for conveniency will actually get their name on registration list and be able to vote by the time it comes to voting? I think that is very important at this point in time. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Barrister Okoye, over to you. There are one or two questions you might want to attend to now.
Yes, in terms of registration and asking people to come back, we had a meeting on Thursday last week with all the resident electoral commissioners from all the states of the federation, and they gave a report of the pressure in their various states. In the states where there is pressure, we have deployed additional private machines to go for purposes of registration. Places like Ogun State, for instance, we have in Ogun State, for instance, the total number of those who have completed their registration stands at 179,432. And in place like Oyo State, we have 230,607. In Osun State, we have 360,625. So these places have recorded high registration. But if you look at places like Imo, for instance, we have 58,495, while Bayelsa has 342,635. So areas of pressure, and we have identified these areas of pressure. And created new, we converted voting points and voting point settlements into full-fledged polling units. We have offered new registrants some of these newly created polling units to make sure that we don't have any zero polling units going into the 2023 general election. At the end of this registration, we are going to print the voters register for every registration area or ward, and then pay, and people will see where their names are. So we believe that nobody will be migrated into a polling unit where the person is not true. And we are being careful with some of these issues, and we assure Nigerians that we are a due process organization, and we do due diligence before we roll out some of our measures and before we take concrete action.
Quickly, Barrister Okoye, what are the question asking about some institutions like the Catholic Church possibly denying its members access to its services, you making PVC a precondition for that?
And that of those switching, for the new polling units that have been created too.
Well, you know that I will not get involved, and the commission will not get involved in religious issues. What the registration as a voter is a exercise within the ambit and confines of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the election act 2022. Anybody who doesn't want to register, it is the person's choice. Anybody who wants to vote, it is the choice. Anybody who does not want to vote, it is the person's choice. Our responsibility is to only encourage people to register and exercise their sovereign rights. So we will not get involved in religious issues around the issue of registration. But I want to just make it clear that it is a voluntary exercise for people to register or not to register. It is their civic responsibility to vote or not to vote during the election. And they can also say, oh, we don't want to vote, we don't have faith in the electoral process, their constitutional and civil rights, and nobody can interfere with that type of right.
So before we let you, in 30 seconds, those that are moving, the new polling units that have been...
Elaborate a process of making sure that people understand where these new polling units are. We are going to engage in aggressive voter and civic education in the next few weeks in relation to some of these newly created polling units. So you will hear from us very, 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 very soon.
All right. Well, Barrister Okoye, thank you very much for your time. We still have more questions online, but, there's only so much we can answer in this period. We appreciate the time you spent with us on Panorama this morning. Thank you.
We appreciate this opportunity. Thank you very much. And thank you for the work you do on behalf of the people of this country.
All right, we'll go on a commercial break now. When we come back, we'll get to the newspapers and see what they have in store for us. Stay with us. Panorama will return.
Splash FM 106.7.
ABR ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àbísúyọ lóko bọ̀pá dé. Wọ́n ní ẹ ò gbọ́dọ̀ kárí ẹ̀ lórí ìgbà ọ̀tun. Pàápàá àǹfààní tó gbọ́mọpọ̀n dáadáa. Ilẹ̀ oko mo lọ́gẹ̀dẹ̀ orílẹ̀ ìlúgùn ọlọ́run dá 25,000 ní plọ̀tì báyìí. Ẹ ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta kẹ́ ẹ gba ìdajì sí i. Wọ́n sì jẹ́ éèkà lẹ́ra ẹ gba plọ̀tì kan sí i. Ilẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ kọ́bápá alábàtà ọ̀pẹ́jì 30,000 per plot. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta ìdajì lẹ́gbà sí i. Ó sì jẹ́ éèkà lẹ́ra ẹ ó gbòdìdì kan sí i. Àwọn onírà ti wà nílẹ̀ láti ra èrè oko yín 39 NTA Road Ọ̀gbẹ̀ Abẹ́òkúta 08033706236 08033706236. ABR ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àbísúyọ lóko bọ̀kọ̀ ìgbọ̀tún fáwọn àgbẹ̀. Àǹfààní yóò pin lógúnjọ́ oṣù táwa yìí.
Oh my God, I never believed until I have mine own. Wow. What a befitting sewing. All thanks to Vive Clothiers. Apart from this party outfit, oríṣiríṣi aṣọ ní tún bẹ lọ́dọ̀ wọn tó bára ẹni mu rẹ́gí bí ẹni pé wọ́n bí mọ́ni ni. Vive Clothiers tún ṣètò customized clothes. Ẹ lè mú aṣọ wá kí abayín dára sí tàbí kábayín rà á. Iṣẹ́ tiwa sí la. Àwa kì í yẹ àdéhùn lórí iṣẹ́ wa. No delay. We sell both ready to wear and custom orders. With Vive Clothiers, enjoy 10% discount on all our products. Kò sí aṣọ age, size tàbí gender tí ó wà available lọ́dọ̀ wa. We offer quality fashionable styles from our choice of fabrics to the finest of finishing. They are all affordable. To enjoy or purchase yours, just walking into the shop, 3rd floor. House number 30 Adato Road, Isaliaki Abeokuta, or you order online through phone call or WhatsApp message 090-3987-8244 080-6789-1075 on Instagram at Vive Clothiers. Offer valid till end of May. Vive Clothiers, affordable and befitting.
Multi-concept services limited.
Pẹ̀lú owó àkọ́kọ́ sọ 100,000 naira. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ wípé ẹ lè gba ilẹ̀ kẹ́tù bọ́dún? Mo ní kí n wá sọ fún yín ni o. Kó tó kásẹ̀ lẹ̀ pé Iléyá promo 2022 ti ilé-iṣẹ́ Ìdẹ́dùn multi-concept services limited ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ìdún 10 ọdún tá a wá yìí tí wà ní Kọ́bápẹ́, Ìdórì, Alábàtà, Alámọ̀lá, Amọ́nì, Òkè Àtà, Ìyànà Ìlógbò, Òkè Àró, Rádà àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ralẹ̀ láti 1 million naira sókè. Àgbò kan, ìrẹsì báàgì kan àti òróró 5 litres lẹ máa gbà kún. Lórí ilẹ̀ 500,000 naira sókè. Àgbò kan, ráìsì ìlàjì àpò àti òróró 5 litres lẹ máa gbà kún. Lórí ilẹ̀ tuntun 200,000 naira sí 499,000 naira. Ògúnfe kan, ìrẹsì báàgì kan pẹ̀lú òróró 5 litres. Lórí ilẹ̀ tuntun 100,000 naira sí 199,000 naira. Ìrẹsì 10 kg pẹ̀lú òróró 1 litre lẹ máa gbà. Lórí ilẹ̀ 50,000 naira sí 99,000 naira. Ìrẹsì 5 kg lẹ máa gbà. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ jàǹfààní Iléyá promo 2022 yìí. Ó tún kásẹ̀ lẹ̀ ní July 10. Ẹ kàn sí Ìdẹ́dùn multi-concept Services Limited ní number 10 Kala Building Abiolawe Abeokuta tàbí kẹ́ pè wọ́n sórí 0906.
Oṣù kẹfà sí Friday ọjọ́ kẹjọ oṣù keje ọdún yìí àfojúsùn wa ní láti lé àrùn pọ́njúpọ́tọ̀ ìyẹn yellow fever àti ìgbóná tí a mọ̀ sí tìta ìyẹn measles tó ń yọ àwọn ènìyàn wa lẹ́nu jìnnà tèfètèfè. Ibà pọ́njúpọ́tọ̀ tí ẹ̀fọn máa ń gbé kiri a máa mú ẹ̀fọ́rí èébì àti gbogbo ènìyàn láti ọmọ oṣù mẹ́sàn-án sí ọdún mẹ́rìnlélógójì ni yóò gba àjẹsára tó ń dènà àrùn yìí. Àrùn tìtáǹtì a máa mú kòkòrò ara lọ́wọ́ ìgbóná bẹ́ẹ̀ ni imú ọmọ a máa ṣomi. Àrùn yìí tún máa ń fa ìfọ́jú ṣe jàǹbá fọ́pọlọ àti kú òjijì. Àwọn ọmọ oṣù mẹ́sàn-án sí ọdún márùn-ún ló máa gba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára láti dènà àrùn yìí. Jọ̀wọ́ má ṣe pàdánù àǹfààní yìí o. Àrùn oníṣe wa tọmọtọmọ o. Kàn sí ibùdó ìlera tó súnmọ́ láti gba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára tó ń dènà àrùn pọ́njúpọ́tọ̀ àti tìta. Ọ̀fẹ́ ni kò léwu bẹ́ẹ̀ ló kápá àwọn àrùn yìí. Olùkéde oníṣègùn òyìnbó Tómi Kókà alábòjútó fẹ́tò ìlera nípínlẹ̀ Ògùn ti àwọn elétò ìrànwọ́ fún ìlera lágbàáyé.
àṣeyọrí gan làgbà iṣẹ́ gbogbo aláṣeyọrí ayọ̀ láṣeyọrí classroom and property limited lónìí ọ̀pọ̀ ilẹ̀ wọn ti di wàmú tirẹ̀ báyìí lórí owó tí gò ga ju ara lọ randa extension hilltop máwùkọ́ àti kọbapẹ́ 100,000 ní plọ̀tì yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni lóko wọn ti di ọ̀pọ̀ yùkẹ́ mo lọ́kẹ̀dẹ̀ 25,000 ní plọ̀tì kan bẹ̀ kọbapẹ́ alábàtà òṣèlè 30,000 ní plọ̀tì ẹ̀ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta kẹ́ẹ̀gbá ìdajì sí i bó sì jẹ́ ékalẹ̀ra odidi lẹ́gbàsí pẹ̀lú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àǹfààní tẹ́ẹ̀jẹ̀ lórí ilé oko wọn torí pé àwọn onírà àti onímọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ ti wà níkàlẹ̀ láti là ń lọ́yẹ̀ lórí kan tẹ́gbìn sí ilé oko tẹ́ ẹ bára 4 mọ̀túndì abiolawe ìlẹ́gò daily express furniture ni wọ́n wà ọlọ́ṣogbo abẹ́òkúta Ògùn state 08033086557 08033086557 lóòótọ́ àṣeyọrí gan làgbà iṣẹ́ bá wa ná dandan ní kẹ́ láṣeyọrí ayọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ tó wà àǹfààní yóò pin lógúnjọ́ oṣù tá a wà yìí.
Flash FM.
Panorama.
Panorama.
Panorama. Panorama.
Panorama.
Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
Back to Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM, the integrity station. And this conversation about permanent voter card is very important, and that's why. And for those that have Ogun-based questions, because of the public holiday today, our initial move was to the REC here in Ogun State. But let's see if in the next few days, maybe we can get the Ogun State Resident Electoral Commissioner to come, because
maybe next week.
Maybe next week. There are some specific questions that Barrister Okoye might not be able to address personally because he's not here. On Facebook,
and each state is different.
Yes, on Facebook, for instance, Matthew Daniel said, "Good morning. I have tried to do online registration regarding to correct a mistake done on my names by INEC in 2011 more than 3 times. All efforts to register online proved abortive. What can I do now? I can't present the voter card in bank due to errors in my name. My area of voting belongs to Abeokuta South local government." I hope that's not the only reason why you're trying to do this. I hope you are going to put that card to use when you eventually get it in 2023. But just like Barrister Okoye said, the portal is only closed for fresh registration. If your card is defaced, or there are errors in whatever parameter on the card, or you're trying to move your polling units maybe from another state or from another polling units within the state, you can still access that portal.
But he said he has tried, but it's proof abortive. I would suggest you go to the physical offices. If you've tried 3 times, like you said, to update your information online, but the efforts have proved
And
abortive. Go
the
to the
truth is,
offices.
I actually do not envy those that are going to the offices now. I'm facing this. Lola
That's a
was
cross they'll have to
there,
bear.
just to see.
Yes.
Last week.
Last Friday.
And you said you met someone who has been there since 6 a.m.
Yes, I was there sometime before 12 p.m. And not only did I meet a crowd seated in front, I asked about the process, and the guy I spoke with said he had been there since 7 a.m. and he was number 60 on the list. Apparently, when you get there, you have to write a list. And despite the fact that he had been there since 7 and was number 60 on the list, they were only at number 19 at some time before 12. So even though the national commissioner that we spoke with, Barrister Okoye, said that INEC can handle about, 300 registrants in one day. I think that's even an ambitious number if they've only handled about 19 before 12 noon. I would say conservatively, at most, they would only be able to handle about 100 new registrants in a day. But then again, I don't think Ogun State is one of those states where he said they deployed the extra machines to help to lessen the pressure. So if you are in these final days just trying to register your PVC, I mean, what can I say? We've been talking about this for nearly a year now. I anticipated this. I was telling Gboyega that at the last election for 2019, I was also one of those last minute registrants. And it was even worse than this, So just brace yourself. I'm not saying it's impossible, but just know that you're going to meet a crowd there. I would suggest you go as early as possible and then be prepared to wait it out. The person who asked about medical workers, and there's no exemptions as far as I know. If you've waited this long, there are no exemptions. So whatever you do, ask your boss for a day off.
I'm saying this because my wife had to go to the physical office. I was already trying to move my PVC from Ondo State to here, and all I did was online. And my card is even ready. I'm going to pick up this week. My wife had to go to the physical office, and
when was
that was late last year.
No, that was even
early,
spent relatively
about 30 minutes, because I took her and I waited and I brought her back.
Right,
so
because there were only a few people.
Only a few people. So if you had done this, all along, when we've been talking about these mid-news messages, we talk about it on Panorama, there's hardly any time you listen to this program or you listen to our news that you don't hear a message about, about at some point, INEC even wanted to make me an ambassador.
Yes, I remember directing something of that nature.
So on Facebook as well, we have Afonjade Damola Daniel Dami White say, "Good morning. Please, how do I get to know whether my PVC is ready for collection after correction of details has been made? If you registered within the first and second quarter of the registration, that's between June and December, your cards are ready according to INEC. They've been printed. All you have to do is go to the local government office. If you stay around Obantoko, for instance, you pick up at Odeda local government. So go to the INEC office in the local government. And Barrister Okoye also mentioned that you can check online. There's a PVC locator on that portal. I just checked mine, to be sure. And it showed me that I have to pick up at Odeda local government. So if just go to the portal, cvr.inecnigeria.org, scroll down, you see PVC locator. Click on that, enter whatever information it's asking you. That's after you have logged into the portal. You have your login email and password. So after you've done that, then you can check if your PVC is printed and ready for collection.
All right, we have a few more comments on WhatsApp. Wale Adeshakins wanted to ask if a new PVC will be issued if someone applies for transfer. Gboyega, you want to take this one?
Yes, because
as the INEC ambassador that you are,
if you check your PVC, the local government where you're registered is usually on it. So it means that the old PVC will carry the old local government where you were registered before. So I'm sure a new one will be printed to carry the new local government that I'm moving mine. For instance, I registered in, Ondo State, Akure precisely, and my card is domiciled in Akure until now, this CVR exercise, when I have now moved it here to Abeokuta.
Well, Olabode Adigun came back again with some more clarification on his situation. He says, I've done all that, and that was why my info printout was given to me. Your people aren't telling me that there's any question regarding the delay, all they keep telling me is that I should exercise some patience and that my PVC will be available in just a couple of months' time. I'm already getting fed up of this same excuse given every time I get there for pickup. Well, I don't know. If INEC officials are telling you that it will be ready in a few months' time, I don't know what to say. Maybe still take them at their word. Yesterday in Abeokuta says, I discovered that my own voter's card is different from what I see with others. What can I do? Though I've requested for transfer of card through the CVR portal due to relocation, will I be issued a new one, please? If you've requested for transfer, you will. According to our ambassador here, you'll be given a new one. But I don't know about your voter's card being different from others. But if you've requested for transfer, you will be given a new one. This one says, are we considering the Nigerians who don't understand the CVR portal or no portal English? That's from Nicholas. Well, I mean, you can go to the physical offices. I'm not saying that's the answer to that, but that is one alternative. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. I also have this tweet from Zachariah Olubayo Taningbola, who says, good morning, Nigerians. Disturbance created by hoodlums in 2 or 3 states at their PVC registration centers is never good for democracy. We need to kick against it now. Thank you, everyone. I've got the Vanguard newspaper here.
And I have the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
From Vanguard, the lead story is on the Owo massacre, which yesterday made it 1 week since that unfortunate incident happened. A tragedy, really. Southwest governors move against Okada operations, declare 3-day mourning, flags to fly at half-mast, vow to combat insurgency, terrorism, worry about spaces being taken over by unknown, unidentified settlers in Southwest. I won't be silenced by cowardly acts, Akere Dolu vows. CDS, how we averted catastrophic attack. Inflation, money supply hits 46.5 trillion naira, highest in 5 years. Currency outside banks up 21%. Credit to government rising faster than private sector. Analysts differ on implications. Oil market, high crude prices shoots aviation fuel by 121.4% to 620 naira per litre. Looks like both diesel, those who use diesel and those who use aviation fuel are suffering this high prices. Surge in food prices will hinder poverty alleviation progress in Nigeria. World Bank warns. ASU, federal government team fails to meet deadlines to resolve issues. Police probes shooting by Burna Boy's escorts at Lagos Club. Gunmen abduct 66 passengers in Sokoto, Abia, Ondo. Pressure on Atiku, Tinubu, Obi, others over running mate. And that's the front page of Vanguard newspaper.
Front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Owo attack. Southwest governors declare 3-day mourning with the riders to fly flags at half-mast in regions' public buildings, official residencies, express grave concern on the influx of Okada riders into all parts of Southwest. CAN organizes interdenominational service for victims. We will not be silenced by cowardly acts. Akeredolu, low turnout in churches. Suspected herders kill 11 in Benue. Bandits abduct 30 wedding guests on Sokoto Zamfara Highway. Kidnap 4 farmers in Ondo. Our negotiation with FG to be concluded soon. That's according to ASU. NDLEA arrest 39 in Abuja raid, destroy hectares of cannabis farm in Edo. Ekitipol, IGP deploys 4 AIGs, 3 CPs, mobile force commanders with the riders. DIG Kokumo to lead team. Tension as APC SDP supporters engage in bloody clash. Northeast favored to produce Tinubu's running mate with the riders. APC legacy parties struggle for slot. PDP reps caucus to endorse Wike as Atiku's running mate. Democracy Day, Nigerians must remain resilient, committed to democratic ideals. That's according to governors. And rhetorics, take concrete actions to guarantee credible polls, PDP tells Buhari. And these are the stories you find on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And we have joining us for this segment of the program, Dr. Kunle Ashimi is a medical doctor and a public affairs analyst as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mega. Thank you, Lola.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to this story, the lead story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
As well as Vanguard.
Our attack, Southwest governors declare 3-day to fly flags at half-mast in regions' public buildings, official residencies, express grave concern on the influx of cadre riders into all parts of South. So my question is, the federal government has declared that that attack was carried out by ISWAP. Some people feel that it's just convenient. But from all of the moves that have been made, do you see any lessons being drawn from, all of everything that has been done since that incident happened? I saw some pictures online, I don't know how true, of some churches, some people standing at the entrance of some churches, with guns slung around, their bodies. But has any lesson been learned in all of this?
Okay, you see, Nigerians, especially Nigerian leaders, are the ones who are so comfortable with knee-jerk reactions, never proactive. I recall very well that on this station and several other stations, people have raised alarm. And we have also seen people taking proactive steps by themselves, scrutinizing some of these trailers, bringing people into the southwest, and sometimes even the vigilantes stopping them to search. And on several occasions, I've found human beings of northern extraction stockpiled under maybe bags of rice or other things to avoid detection. And they come into the southwest with their Okada and all of that, migrating in massive numbers to the south. And a lot of people have raised concerns about even their own localities and how, we've seen strange faces. To me, it is not about anybody from any other part of the country, but the point is that, one, the pattern of migration, the fact that they are not profiled, and you see those associations that call themselves this Okada Riders Association and all that, cannot tell you that they have the list or profile of everybody that they are collecting money from. All they just do is collect money. And so this in itself, even in time of peace, calls for concern. Any student of history, we have seen patterns that all these people collect and all that. That is one. Two is that I mentioned on this program, last week or so, about the fact that the number of policemen that we have in the and the percentage taken up by the VIPs. Imagine an entertainer having one policeman who carried one AK-47 assault rifle and shot somebody's husband after the entertainer made a pass at the wife. So the problem is that we are not making judicious use of
Apparently,
even
just
small
one police escort. Five.
Imagine. So 5 to that one who is not even a politically exposed person. Do you understand? So there are so many things like that. We just keep shouting. We are seeing these things glaring in the face, but we are not making the steps. Now, the governors are showing concern. Before that concern, the issue is in Owo. How many police stations were there? While that event was going on, the ratatatata of AK-47 rifle could be heard at least, let's say 10, 20 houses from there. And somebody most likely would have called the police, who may be 50 or 100 houses from, the location. Yet, they did not get there. And again, these people were able to escape. Somebody was even able to take the type of vehicle and the registration plate of that vehicle. And yet, nobody was able to track that vehicle while it was in transit. So there's a lot of things that they need to do. Beyond all these flying masts at flying flags at 1/4 mast. Before long, you see that they will forget. And then, by God's grace, another one will not happen. Because it's becoming one too many. So, the government has not learnt any lesson. Even the people themselves. Because now you have come to understand that these people target large gatherings and all of that. And you don't care who comes into those places. And it's becoming more and more sophisticated. The way they attack. You see planning. You know, unlike before when it used to be just some random thing, haphazardly done and all of that. These people are becoming more sophisticated. Now, how do you determine? Did ISWAP make any pronouncement? Or are you just trying to give us something so that we can just go and shut up our mouth? Okay? How did you get to it that ISWAP is responsible? Did they make any claim? Because whether you like it or not, evil organizations like ISWAP, they take trophies. The moment it happens, they will come out to say, yes, we did this, just to show you that they're in your court. I still don't believe that it is any ISWAP or any Boko Haram or any herdsmen or any community clash or anything until they have done thorough investigation and be able to pinpoint that this is what is the trademark of ISWAP that made you think that is ISWAP?
Is it the discovered IEDs? Do you think that could be why the
are these IEDs labeled? Okay, from what we have heard, a lot of these terrorist organizations took their trainings from almost the same places. And so I don't think that the ISWAP has a way of doing their own, just like you'll be able to recognize an American rocket from and differentiate it from a Russian or a Chinese one. Are they labeled? There's still a lot. They should not just be giving us, information that they themselves have not verified. And then by now we should have been able to see somebody map out how the event took place. This is how these people came in. This is how these people.
Multiple reports.
Multiple reports. So if it is the DSS that is going to be in charge of talking, let the DSS be the one telling us. Not the. Let's have talk so that we be able to prevent this way. Okay, even if we don't know the other way in which they will come next, but let's understand how they came in this time.
All right. Also from the papers now, the Professor Nimi Briggs-led committee set up by the federal government to renegotiate the 2009 agreement signed by the government with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and put an end to the ongoing industrial action by the union has failed to meet the 3-month timeframe given it by the federal government to conclude, which by Minister of Education Adamu on March 7 this year, was given 3 months to conclude its assignment. It was gathered that Adamu gave the committee the go-ahead to continue its negotiation with the union since there seems to be, even though nothing concrete was agreed within being reached with the negotiation between this committee and ASU.
Well, I don't know the new thing. I don't know the terms of or the new instructions or the new terms of reference that this committee has.
Oh, by the way, ASU is still insisting on UTAS
that's where I'm going.
as a basic condition.
Yes,
to
that's
resolve
where
the
I'm
strike.
going. Because
do you think that would be the one clause that will undermine whatever negotiations or compromise the federal government makes?
That's what I'm driving at. That maybe the instruction has changed. That the negotiation team is now supposed to say, okay, we will consider UTAS and all of that. But for me, I think that the president has said he's not making any U-turn on UTAS. He's going to, as much as possible, agree with every other thing that they have asked for.
Right.
But he's not going back on UTAS. And ASU is insisting on UTAS.
Mm-hmm.
For me as a person, I think that the insistence by ASU on UTAS, they should actually step down on that. Because for some of us, we believe that you cannot tell your employer how you are paid. There are some employers that pay people by hand, cash, up till today. And they say it is for their own convenience and all of that. Some will insist that if you don't have a bank account, you don't get paid. That is the way they want to do it. So if you want to insist that this is how you are paid, perhaps that may continue to make the government look like who is now dictating the tune. Okay? So we need to understand some of these things. And then you know the way Nigeria is, especially the labor and all of that. The moment government accepts UTAS, others will come up with their own and start claiming peculiarities. I am paid on IPPIS. Yes, there are one or two issues, but those issues are essentially human errors, because there's an input side of this thing and there's an output side. When you see that output, a lot of times, or in fact, in all cases that I have seen, it is the input side that is the problem.
Not the software.
Not the software. Okay? It's already programmed. Okay? Once in a while, software could go this way or that way, especially because people try to rig, the process and all that. And it could trigger some fail-safe in the software, and it doesn't work the way it is. But, the point is that if what you want to be captured in IPPIS, like some of us have always said, no, I am not saying this is the reason. You see, anywhere in the world, lecturers could go on sabbatics, There are lecturers who work in this university and then also do some part-time in other universities. And of course, they get paid for these things. Why don't you come clean on this and say, look, the way Nigeria is structured, one lecturer could even be working in 4 universities. How do you capture that on IPPIS? But the problem with Nigeria, as I have seen it across board, while we say that, look, in the health sector, for example, we are understaffed, we are this, we are that, and there are so many people out there who are looking for jobs, yet we still have people in that same system who have served out their time and they are back in on contract, while fresh people are not coming in. Okay? That also will be one of the problems in the universities. You have served out your time. You see, the IPPIS system is the day that your date of birth comes to, it locks you out. So that might be difficult for some of these persons, and they have to say, okay, let us find, if we need this person, we know that he's invaluable in the system. How do we bring him back into the system? These are the things you should bring to the table. Okay? What are the things that are in UTAS that are not in IPPIS?
That can be
IPPIS is used to pay across. So we say, oh, no, it's not used in the military. It's not this, it's not that.
It's used in NMPC. According to the lecturers.
Those are the issues that we're saying. Now, by default, some of these organizations have their peculiarities. Are those peculiarities enough to have a standalone? So those are the things you want to tell me, those things. So I don't see this going anywhere, because everybody is just trying to say, okay, if we down tool, you won't have a choice. And government will say, well, if you like, continue, and I will not pay. And then one day government come up and say, well, no work, no pay. How many months now since this ASU strike? Unfortunately, this is a country where we go on strike for even a year, we still get paid. And so there is no reason for us to, want to step back and this. I think the old modus operandi of going on strike and all of these things have to be reworked. We cannot always remain adamant that if you are going out for 10 things, you've gotten 8, fine. Go and repackage the remaining 2. Right. Possibly you will get it better.
But have they gotten this too?
And especially this lack of sincerity on the part of government.
IPPIS has dominated and UTAS has dominated the conversation with, ASU and these strikes. But even before this came up, it came up only a few years ago, I believe. The government has been notorious for promising to pay money and not doing that. And there are several things ASU is asking for now: revitalization fund, increase in salaries, and all that. If we separate IPPIS from this, is there a guarantee that the government, because I know that the IPPIS subject is one that is polarizing people. Some feel that ASU is not coming with clean hands either, but at least the money is, that one is, most people seem to agree that it's justified, that the lecturers deserve, an increase in salaries, the revitalization fund. But is there anything you are seeing to indicate that the government this time is being sincere about paying them these amounts?
Well, even if the government is sincere in the individual acts, I don't think that the purse of the Nigerian government or whatever is left, mark my word, whatever is left after those other things, at least somebody was able to pull out about 170 billion, you know the way they do it. But whatever is left in that purse may not be able to sort out this problem. I also think that, you see, insincerity in government negotiations, a lot of these strikes that becomes perpetuated over the years, the problem usually starts from the very first negotiation. Okay? When you lead a team, this ASU strike now, for example, a lot of people are becoming so aware now about these old issues. But these issues are not just starting. There was a first negotiation so many years back before this government, and somebody, agreed to do some things and refused to do them. If that had been done, or those agreements have been implemented to the letter then we'll be talking about something else now. ASU may not be on strike, or if they are going to be on strike, they will still be negotiating about, So, government is a continuum, okay? But even government needs to now come up to be sincere. Now, how much do we have in our purse? When you factor how much money goes into corruption, when you factor how much money goes into debt payments and all of that, we're already in trouble. It is not likely that government will be able to implement whatever they agree with ASU now. Unlike maybe if that agreement had been 4 years ago, when there was still a little bit more change.
But we
now,
see the government borrowing.
That is what we're saying. It's okay. Now,
After borrowing, but can it simply
you will also see that within the citadel also, you have thinkers, coming up to say it is wrong for government to borrow money to be paying salaries and all that. They should rather borrow money for productive sector. So sometimes some of these our arguments shoot us in the foot, But let us now put it on the table. Let's start a national debate and say, government say, yes, I'm going to fully implement this, but we're going to borrow the money. And you will see how polarized the people would also become in that respect. But I also think that there is another problem. You see, the Nigerian education system, 6334. 633. Yes. A lot of people who get into the system should just have branched out at the first three to go to technical schools and all of that, and then still become, very useful persons to this community and to themselves. Not everybody is supposed to go to SS3. Not everybody is supposed to go to polytechnics or universities. But now that we have everybody struggling to get there, and then after graduating so many years, they still don't have jobs, we're still not rethinking it. That is one. Two is that, yes, in some countries, yes, university education is free, but some people pay for this, or something in the system pay for it. I am not advocating that Nigerians should be put into this hardship, but government need to find an alternative source of funding education. Okay? And you see that a lot of countries, a lot of universities globally, you see trusts that are putting money into these universities every year in millions of dollars. Can the Nigerian educational system be geared up to that level? Who would build it up to that level? It is those who are inside. Outsiders will not trust government enough. Investors will not trust government enough to say, we are giving this money to the Ministry of Education to fund Unilag or Olabisi Onabanjo University. No, there is something should happen within that place that would make people say, yes, this place is worth investing in. And so we need to rejig the people that are in there for them to be able to step up their game to attract funding. If we look at the amount of money, even if it is if half of what goes to BB Niger, okay, is given to Unilag, for example, it will do a lot of things. Okay, if there are some group of industry who believe that Olabisi Onabanjo University have the capacity or the kind of students that are useful for their industry, they would keep in, putting something in so that they start using that place as their recruitment ground, to produce. So there's a lot of things that need to be done. So in other words, I'm saying that an alternative funding for university needs to be looked at.
All right.
And the lecturers need to, perhaps for now, step down from this issue of UTAS. Let's continue with what we have. And over the years or in the next coming months, be able to repackage their presentation on UTAS such that it become glaring to even some of us who are skeptics that it is the way to go.
All right, let's check this story before we get to the phone lines. Northeast favored for Tinubu's running mate. APC Legacy Party struggle for slot. Well, after the APC presidential primaries, what has dominated the media space is the vice presidential slot, because INEC also has a deadline for that. I think it's 17th of June. So in a few days, all parties will have to nominate a running mate to their presidential candidate. And the concern for APC is, should it be a Muslim ticket? How would the North, see a Northern Christian as a running mate? And for the PDP as well, there's also another story here that says PDP Reps Caucus set to endorse Wike as Atiku's running mate. So the headache for everyone now is running mates.
And the poll about how the North will view a Northern Christian ticket. Is there even a pool of Northern Christian politicians who are very visible?
Yeah, I think one, let us say that Nigeria is a very weird country. When we have scaled one order, the next one you start bringing all of those issues again. And I have said, look, Nigeria has had Muslim presidents, Christian presidents, Muslim vice presidents, Christian vice presidents. Can we profile them and say it was because they were Muslims that they behaved this way, or because they were Christian was why we had this result? Is it because they were Northerners that we had this, or because they were Southerners that we had this? I really have not seen at the national level, maybe at the state level, where, okay, you say because this person is from this part of the state, so there's more development skewed towards there. I have not seen in this history where a particular person, because he's from the South, therefore the South became so extremely, developed against the North because he is, or because he's a Christian, that is why. Look, all these primordial sentiments are not helping this country. But let us get into that narrative, is that if that is what they want. Not northern Muslim ticket, Muslim Christian ticket. Well, maybe PDP is largely settled because they can easily say, okay, this is come to the South, you can easily get a Christian from the South. But in the North, of course, people have touted that, okay, Boss Mustafa is a Christian. And by virtue of even now, for you to be the, what's it called, to the president? Is it the SGF now? So, how strong you need to be. Two positions that people don't understand how very powerful they are. The SGF and the Chief of Staff. Okay? If Boss Mustafa could make it up to being the SGF, then there is nothing stopping him from being, pushed forward as a vice presidential candidate, except he doesn't want. And I also know that there are so many one of them. I may not be able to point out names now, but Gowon, for example, is a Christian. And the average person who just think of, Northerners, they think of as Muslims. But there are a lot of Christians in the North. There are some states where even their problems is between the Christians and the Muslims. Somewhere like Kaduna. Okay? Not even just about the tribes now. Even within these tribes, So there are enough Christians in the North that could be picked from. And I don't think it should be a problem. The only problem would just be, would Nigerians accept a Muslim ticket? And you see the Christian Association of Nigeria is already singing this song all over the place. We will not allow this. I don't know.
Well, Governor Rufai spoke late last week when he was interviewed and said he doesn't see how it's important. And he made some references. He said, when I board an airline, for instance, I do not ask if the pilot is a Christian or if a Muslim or if he's a Northerner or a Southerner. If I go to the hospital, I do not ask if the doctor or the nurse is, a Southerner, a Muslim or a Christian. But another question that people are asking is, if it were to be the other way around, Christian, would he fly with the North? Based on what people like El Rufai and some other, northern politicians, cerebral northern politicians, have said.
You see, when you start bringing intelligent discussions into the political arena, I start suspecting you. You don't bring that kind of intelligent discussion into a political arena. Politicians are not necessarily. Don't let me go there. See, the
But he
point
did
is this. See, you don't bring that kind of discussion. It doesn't fly. Because severally, of course, when we're in small group discussions, what is wrong with you? Have you ever had to ask your taxi driver his religion or is where it comes from? In fact, sometimes when you are negotiating with Okada man, the only thing that concerns you is, this one, if I say Ibafo, I hope you won't take me to Ibadan. And that's where it concerns you. But in the critical things, how often have you gone to ask for the tribe of the airplane pilot? But that is an intelligence discussion. You don't bring it into political arena. They don't use intelligence there. They just use tricks. And that's why some people coined as politricks. Intelligence does not come in. Capture the mind of your people. Try to understand where their waves are and then ride with it. That is all. So,
tap into their sentiments.
Exactly.
What we have.
Just tap into that sentiment. You don't bring intelligent discussions. If it is we're discussing, I say, come, how do we run Splash FM? Would it matter to you that they said the person that is maybe going to deputize for you or the chairman of is now an Igbo man? All that matters to you is his track record, And at this level, you have to apply intelligence, but not at the national level where it should matter. It has never mattered. So let us flow with the sentiment in town. Will a Muslim ticket help the APC? I think that for the Southwest or for the South, with the narrative that is flying now and the Christian Association trying to, raise concerns, it will take away some of their voters from the South, but it won't matter in the North.
And it would Christian tickets and it would fly in the south.
It will fly in the south, but it will not fly in the north. So you have to balance it.
Does this rhetoric in any way differ from the same or a similar one that played out with the zoning arrangement as to when it was the question of the South's turn to rule, and you had several prominent Northerners saying that competence doesn't have anything to do with religion, with tribe and ethnicity, and now El Rufai making a similar argument saying competence doesn't have anything to do with religion.
So you would understand that it's just about convenience. For politicians, it is what is convenient for the time. Let me tell you something. Some people said, if you read through the social media, when the Emilokon of Nigeria, when he made that statement, intelligent people went to town. How can he say so? He is entitled. He is this. And I said to people, look, you people are not getting it. Tinubu is a politician. He's not addressing you. Carry your intelligent brain. He's not talking to you at all. He's talking to the people he's talking to, and they understood the message. Because there had been some narratives going on underground that he was the one that helped this one, helped this one, helped this one, helped this one, and all that. And now they want to, run him down. So he's addressing some other persons, not you. Carry your intelligent brain and leave that side. And some people went to, they made songs out of it. They were, do more than that. He knew what he was saying. He knew what he was doing. He knew his audience very well. And he has addressed them. You can go and get your headache. And what happened?
So when it is time to have intelligent conversations,
they will invite those people that they want to talk to. When they talk, they know they're... Okay, let me just quickly tell you something. You remember back in Zuo, in those days, that governor of Kaduna State, or which was it, when they asked him, how many minerals do you have? You have abundant minerals in your state. Which ones? He said, we have them plenty. We have Coke, we have Fanta, we have Sprite. You think he didn't know what he was doing? That guy was supposedly at that time a master's degree holder. But he decided to let the world think me a fool.
To play dumb?
Yeah.
0704 400 1067 0817 444 1067. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Nicholas, good morning to you.
Dr. Ashimio, when Governor Yakowa died in Kaduna, some people were jubilating. Dr. Ashimio, Professor Ishak of Murit is a professor, he's a civilized, he's a Lagos boy. He told the whole world that the next president, the next Yoruba president must not be a Christian. Religion in Nigerian politics, even in American and British politics, plays a role. Secondly, Lola, thanks for the questions you asked by Festus. But Festus is one of the Nigerians who is serious in government life. But like Churchill said, give us the tools and we'll finish the job. Is INEC properly funded, or does the Accountant General has more funds? Because elections have consequences. And the votes will decide if Nigerians will return those who have brought them to this mess, or will change them. But in my place, they say you don't use your mouth to put fish inside the soup. Then, on the issue of the club, if a musician can have 5 policemen, and some of our election centers are empty, that's to tell you where security is going. Then, on the issue of the violence in Owo, it's unfortunate we wake up, we don't know who to believe. Is it the NSA? Is it the IG? Or the Minister of Interior, who is probably in Maitama? Or the governor of Ondo, who is supposed to be the chief security officer? Or the parish priest? For me, I'll believe the parish priest and those who survived that attack. Because the truth is that all our agencies have been polarized on different lines.
All right.
Please, what is your view after Lola has advised us to take our PVCs on the Nigerians who stoned fellow Nigerians in Lagos, and why the police look the other way, why some were in TBS taking their cars and the police was guiding them, knowing that the Oba of Lagos had once threatened to throw some Nigerians in Lagos into the lagoon. I wonder where he had that pass from. Please try and reply to my last question. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Quickly, Dr. Ashimi.
Well, I'm a Lagos boy. I understand Yoruba. Don't take the Oba of Lagos too seriously. It was not meant to be that way. The other thing is that I still strongly believe that there are ways around this issue of PVC. CSOs, churches, organizations can still come forward and put facilities together for INEC to situate and increase the number of units. You remember that while they were still struggling in Alaba and all those areas, some people actually provided space at Tafawa Balewa Square, 20 registration points. And it was not just INEC, it was a CSO. So a lot of us can still come together to help INEC do that. So that's where it goes. And please, Mr. Nicholas, remove you from my name. It's Ashimi, not Ashimiu.
All right, 0817 444 1067, 0817 555 1067, which is also the WhatsApp number, 0704 400 1067, 0705 050 1067. We've taken a number of stories from the papers. It's time to react to them. We also have Facebook and Twitter. Facebook at Splash FM 106.7 Abeokuta, and Twitter at Splash FM 1067. Honorable Ademolake Vanguard on Twitter says, clearly INEC has an onerous task in conducting a free and fair election in 2023. Hopefully INEC will remain truly independent and not buckle under the current weight of demands and expectations from the masses. God heal Nigeria. Edwin Abayomi says, so after flying the flags at half-mast, what next? I feel the logistics used in flying Governor Akeredolu from Abuja to Owo shortly after the attack should have been deployed to give the killers hot chase to prevent their escape. But what do I know, self? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Tajudin from Agbon.
Go ahead, Tajudin.
On the issue of the club issue, the Burna Boy issue, it's an embarrassing one, and it explains what happens in Nigeria. You hardly find the security agents where you need them, but you just discover that it's even as if these police officers and the likes even lobby to go around with these guys rather than protect the citizens. So this is quite embarrassing. And on the issue of the Muslim tickets, my question is, if Tinubu has a Muslim running mate and Atiku has a Muslim running mate, what happens? Are we saying that we are going for Labour Party or any? So this thing is just logical. Politicians think differently from us. We are just about the English. We like speaking English, talking grammar and the like. But politicians have their own language separately. So it is whatever they think is right for them, they will do. And it doesn't affect anything. That is my own opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Tajuddin, for your opinion. More comments from the WhatsApp number. This one is from Nicholas, who says, which Oba is more paramount in Lagos? His comments are vital. Given the lynching of Deborah and burning of shops in Dede and Sokoto, it is not out of place for the Christians to be scared, he says. Hello?
This is Nicholas.
Nicholas, you have to make it very quick. 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. In a democracy, there's freedom of expression. The politicians don't speak to Nigerians with German or Spanish. So people can speak in different languages. But the point is that we are not in the Nigeria of 1993. Religion still plays a great role in this country. And on the issue of the clubs, Dr. Kunle, different things happen in the club. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you for your contribution, Nicholas. A number of comments on WhatsApp. Bola from Isali Abetu says, the issue of religion should be downplayed in choosing our political leaders. Are we as godly as we claim to be religious? Can we sell our cultures to an Arab? E.g., our addresses to Europeans who brought Christianity to us to accept. Religion is an instrument of imperialism and extension of slavery. Let us be godly. Let us put nationalists in positions of authority. This one says, this from Comrade Otetokoro, and he's drawing our attention first to what I can see is a collapsed bridge somewhere at Kemta, Idiaba, Abeokuta. He said he's been complaining about this area bridge, but those concerning government have ignored it and refused to work on it, instead focusing on their second term. He's also drawing attention to a pothole from Kemta, Idiaba as well, along Kemta to Sawmill, saying that this pothole can cause accidents. Well, presumably, if they're listening, there's a dangerous pothole along that road, as well as a collapsed bridge. I think the collapsed bridge looks rather awful. Those concerns should please get to it. But he also says, should ASU please accept IPPIS? Then after being paid through the IPPIS system, if there's any shortfall in their payments after being captured, they can now make their complaint. This one says, it's from Fola, and Fola was asking, INEC Odeda office is not located inside local government office. Kindly affirm the information. And Fola also says,
saying the INEC local government office.
Said, please, INEC Odeda office is not located inside local government office.
I personally, I don't know where it is located, but INEC has offices in all of the local governments.
So it may not be inside the local government office, but it will be in the local government area.
Exactly.
All right. Fola also says, to IBDC, is Obantoko part of their catchment area? No power supply in Obantoko, and you bring skyrocketed bills. Yet communities are responsible for maintenance and repairs of equipment. This is fraud. To the Southwest governors, what are you doing, or what action are they taking with monthly security votes? And there's insecurity everywhere. Thank you, everyone, for your contribution.
Facebook says, and Iskaya says, let me dust mine from where I kept it. 2023 around the corner. I'm sure she's talking. He is talking about
his PVC.
Sobatek says, God bless Nigeria. Ifan Ichuk said, Idio Renepa bills for May as a factory error for the current charges on all bills. Are we sure that the woman did not hear burn her boy? Well, thank you very much, everyone. Dr. Kunle Ashimi.
I think people should go online and recheck the validity of this PVC. I had issues with mine. I tried, checking, and it's telling me they can't find
your records.
My records.
So check, just to be sure, before
the PVC
and I think INEC should also be on the lookout, because there are so many of us who cannot get to, online.